Hello you plonkers, and welcome back today to a brand new video on the Drewzy channel. AFL season is swinging back around. This is the start of the season cycle for young Drewzy boy. I'm kicking us off with a bang. Every AFL team's most likely player to break out as a star this year. They could already be an established player, could be a player that hasn't done much yet, but they're gonna break out. Could be a rookie. I made it up, deal with it. Let's crack on with the video. We're going in alphabetical order, so watch all the way through so my watch time increases so I can start making money, please. Adelaide, Darcy Fogarty. He only played 4 games last season, so you might be asking, why do you think he's gonna break out? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he played 4 games and kicked 9 goals. He kicked 5 goals against the West Coast Eagles, who had 2 All-Australian defenders in Shannon Hearn and Jeremy McGovern, as well as Brad Shepherd, who probably should have been an All-Australian. Not an easy job, and he kicked 5 on them. Tex Walker and that Lynch geezer, they're about as consistent as Melbourne's weather, about as consistent as young King Cookson's upload schedule. If he can remain consistent and get a good run of games, he'll break out this year. Brisbane, Hugh McCluggage. And I know what you're saying. Everyone knows about Hugh McCluggage already. Why are you saying him? He broke out last year. Listen, he's 21 and he's played 63 games. 4th year in the league, I think it is for him. This is the year he's going to cement his place. He's comfortable. He's had a good year already. He's full of confidence. He made the All-Australian squad last season, and I feel like this year he's just going to hit the ground running, get out of the shadow of Zorko and Lachie Neale. Right, for Carlton, I went with Paddy Dow. I wrote this a couple days ago, and I don't know why I put Paddy Dow, but I'll stick by it. It was between Sam Walsh, who was a bit obvious, Charlie Curnow, who's sort of already broken out, and I didn't really want to talk about him too much, Sam Petrevski-Seaton, and Zach Fisher. So I just went with Paddy Dow. He had 5 20-touch games last year. When you're in a side as bad as Carlton, which is about as strong as my left bicep or bloody Harley Bennell's calves, that's a pretty hard job to get 20 touches. With a full preseason under a new coach and a list that's re-energized to play a new brand of footy, I reckon Paddy Dow might just have a pretty good season this year. Collingwood, Jaden Stevenson. He's already broken out. Shut up, Drewzy. You know fucking nothing. Hear me out, yeah? His first year was filled with highlights, glimpses of huge potential, and then last year he went and fucked it up in classic Collingwood fashion by going and gambling. This stunted his trajectory. If he had a full year last year, he would have gone zoop, but he didn't, and it stunted his growth. So this year, with a full preseason, all that jazz, no bans, I reckon this geezer can skyrocket. He's 21, so if he can stay injury-free and out of TABs, he's on for a huge year. I could see him and DeGoey forging a partnership that likes of Hayden Ballantyne and Sonny Walters would have been jealous of. I reckon this partnership would scare the likes of Zach Dawson and Jack Frost, mate. They are going to be a force to reckon with, and they're going to tear through the AFL this season. Essendon, Corner McKenna. He's the AFL home brand Conor McGregor. How can you not love this bloke? He bounced the ball more times than any other player in the AFL last season. Unbelievable. He brings more than Irish Techers to the AFL, the leprechaun. I'll tell you what he does. He had 14 20 disposal or more games this season, and all I've heard about him is that he kicks the ball to himself. He's 5th in his side for disposals behind Dylan Shield, Heppel, Andy McGrath, and Zach Merritt. And at least 3 of them are considered elite midfielders. Why is Conor McKenna not being talked about? Yeah, underrated. Plus, he doesn't even play in the midfield. He's off the half-back flank, getting that many touches, bouncing the ball that much. He's going to be huge this year. This year is...
We're here just to take part. We're here to take over.
Fremantle, Luke Ryan. I watched Fremantle every game last season, obviously. I'm a Fremantle fan. I've seen this guy be good for so many years, and he hasn't been talked about. Last year, he really stepped up. So this year, he needs to get the recognition he deserves, and he's going to break out. When he isn't making TikToks, he's intercepting balls more than the Chinese intercept phone calls. This guy's marking across the pack, on top of the pack. It's absolutely unbelievable. A generational Dockers halfback. Honestly, he's that good. He has elite pace, athleticism, a good haircut when he wants it. He's just a full package halfback in today's modern AFL, really. All bias on my side, I think that Luke Ryan is the most underrated player in the AFL. And if you keep an eye out for him, you'll see why. Geelong, I've gone with Quinton Narkle. This team is filled with players that I could have chose Ryan Myers, Charlie Constable, Jack Henry, but my poppy is a Geelong fan and he's always raving on about how Quinton Narkle isn't getting enough games. So I've done this for you, Poppy. He played 6 games last season and averaged 17.2 disposals, as well as 1.3 goal involvements a game. And Poppy reckons that's pretty good. Poppy also says he's a full package forward. Chase down tackles, good mark, good kick, speed. Poppy reckons he has it all. If he gets more than 6 games this season, gets a good run of games, I reckon he could reach the potential that my Poppy has labelled him at, and I think he could have a big season. Gold Coast, Sam Collins. I could have said Jack Lukosius, Ben King, or another one of their top picks, but by the time round 1 swings around, they'll probably be coked out of their brains in surfer's paradise, wondering what the fuck happened. So I'm going to say Sammy Boy. This guy used to play for Freo. You probably didn't know that because he barely ever got a game for some reason, but when he did play, he was very good for us. And when we delisted him, I was gobsmacked. Last year when Dockers played Gold Coast, there was about 10 seconds left. We kicked it forward to the forward maestro that is Darty McCrafty, and out of nowhere, Sammy Collins come out and took a big pack mark, and it won Gold Coast the game. Seeing that broke my heart, really. This kid has potential to be one of the top 5 fullbacks in the league, I reckon. The next week, Gold Coast beat Carlton, and Gold Coast were led from the back by Sam Collins with a 3-1 record, and things were really looking good for them. Then they lost literally every game of the season. How embarrassing is this club? They haven't won a game since last April. Let's not waste any more time on this absolute joke of a club. Bun off. GWS, Brent Daniels. Who's Brent Daniels? I hear all you casual fans saying. Brent Daniels is his name and footy is his game. He was ranked 2nd in the AFL last season for goal assists. This bloke seems like he's tearing it up. 2nd in the comp for goal assists in the season, and I couldn't tell him apart from a bloody block of cheese. Imagine being 20 years old and having more goal assists than Dusty, Danger, the Bont, just to name a few. He could tell me that he works part-time as a chicken farmer, and I'd probably say, yep, that doesn't surprise me, because I don't know who the fuck you are. Melbourne, Ed Langdon. Ed Langdon played at the Dockers last season. One of my favourite players I've seen in the last 5 years at Freo. He's an absolute elite player on the wing, consistent, plays his heart out every week. Pace, skills, agility, goals from the wing, he does it all. If he's half as good as he was for Freo at the D's, they'll honestly have themselves a top 5 winger in the comp. This guy, you'll be hearing his name pop up all of next season. I just liked him so much because he can find the pill as well as Ben Cousins can find the illicit kind. Absolute magnet. North Melbourne, Luke Davies, Uniacke. Him. I asked the young king for his opinion on this one, being a loyal Kangaroos fan. He was hesitant to give me the answer, young Cookson, just because our last video we did together on his channel didn't go so well. But I convinced him. I said, I'll give you neck a tickle next time I see ya. And he gave me Luke Davies, Uniacke. He's only played 21 games over the last 2 years, and Cookson just says the hype around this man is absolutely mental. He averaged 15 disposals last year when he played, and he ranked in the top 5 for contested possessions per game, total centre clearances, and total stoppage clearances among rising stars in the AFL. Port Adelaide, I've gone with Connor Rozee. Port had a pretty good draft class last year. They got Rozee, Zachy Butters, and a nonce as well.
Hey, BT, were you surprised that Xavier Dersman's girlfriend's still at school?
Shocked me. Absolutely shocked me.
These 3 all really had a good year, but I was most impressed by Connor Rozee. He's just turned 20, and last year he was already in the top 5 for inside 50 tackles. A little pressure boy like Hayden Ballantyne was back in his day. He kicked the most goals out of the whole draft class and led Port Adelaide in goals kicked. I'm 18, so in 2 years' time, there would be no chance of me leading an AFL side in goal kicking. There would be as much chance of me having an affair with Kim Kardashian. It's not going to happen. This kid has talent. Richmond, Marlon Pickett. This guy reached the holy grail of football in his first ever AFL game. He might as well just hang up his boots, get on the rocking chair out the front of his house on the patio and just hurl abuse at children. The man was pulling out 360 no-scopes on grand final day in the middle of the G in front of millions. And if that's anything to go by, I think Magic Marlin will have an absolutely mammoth year if he gets more than one game. He got drafted in the mid-year draft last year, so he's got a full preseason under his belt now, settled into Tigerland, and this could be another steal from WA that the Dockers didn't pick up on. St Kilda, Hunter Clark. The Huntsman Spider, as he's widely renowned, had a huge sophomore season in the league last year. He averaged 20.5 touches a game, especially with this new era of the Saints. As the team progresses upwards, I think Hunter Boy is also gonna go upwards. He's a smooth, composed, versatile, good off both feet halfback, and this year I think he's gonna break out and thrive like a bloody Mexican drug lord. Sydney, Oliver Florent. This Sydney side has about as much potential as Billie Eilish. Ollie mainly played on the wing last season, but in the last 4 games of the season, he was played as an inside mid. And when he played in the middle of the midfield, he averaged 25 disposals. Bonkers. If Ollie can implement maybe a kick flip, heel flip or tray into his game, we might see a new star born in the Sydney midfield. West Coast, Oscar Allen. Being from Perth, I've heard all about this geezer, but for those who don't know him, he's pretty much the heir to Josh Kennedy's throne. He averaged 1.6 goal involvements last season, and much like Willie Rioli and Ben Cousins before him, this man knows how to get high, except he does it with athleticism, not weed or meth. He's only 20 years old, and with glimpses of what we saw last season, I could see him stamping his place in the Eagles forward line this season, stamping himself as the Eagles power forward for the next decade or so. Western Bulldogs, Patrick Lipinski. The Paddy Flipper, as people call him, majorly stepped up for the Dogs last season, averaging an extra 6.2 disposals than the previous year. As well as averaging 22 disposals a game, he averaged 1.8 goal involvements as well. And for a 21-year-old, that is not bad at all. He didn't come into the side until round 10 last year, but after his return, he didn't get less than 15 touches in any games, and he got 32 touches in one game against the Magpies, who have one of the best midfields in the AFL. I mean, come on! I will be keeping an eye out for this guy, because he looks like he will be right up there next season. Anyway, that's it for this video. A bit of a different one. Thought I'd switch it up a little bit going into this season, so people actually start to take notice of my channel. Let me know if you liked this video or not. I put a bit of research into it, so if you wouldn't mind giving it a like. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you later.